James Jr.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to Win Over Here podcast. I'm your host, LESKUZZY, and that's Nick 215. And we are back with another episode, bro. Uh, everyone, we normally say how he's we normally start with how my boy doing, but hey, man, y'all missed out on what almost a 4 hour stream yesterday on Kick, so y'all gotta follow me on Kick. Uh, we're gonna be we're gonna have more collaborations. Me and my boy Nick Vinik on Kick soon, but we did a live reaction to the first round of the draft. We were gonna do a live reaction to the second one, but it started like at 4 p.m. And by the time it was over, I was just coming out of work, so there was no point of me doing a live reaction because I didn't have anything to do live reaction with. Uh, so we got you want to talk about the NBA draft?
I'm gonna be honest. I ain't know nobody in the draft, and it was a
Um,
lot of international players. There was a lot of
yeah,
Vucevic and Djokovic and topic. Um, but when I did see highlights, it looked solid. It looked solid. None of them got notable names though, so I think that's a real good thing. Nobody has a notable name. Nobody's overhyped. So when somebody actually start popping off next season, it'll be genuine.
yeah,
I think everybody really drafted for what they needed, also.
yeah,
Um, and of course, the
yeah.
big story is going to be Bronny James going second round, 55 pick. But
All right, you
other
know
than
what?
that, it's all
Okay,
basic.
you want us to do you want us to talk about the first round, then or just talk about the Bronny James and why he went 55?
I mean, if you know anything more about the first round, I don't know nobody but Zach Eady,
So
and I
the
think he's
first
gonna be a beast over there at the Timberwolves. But whatever. My bad, not the
oh
Timberwolves. The Grizzlies.
the Grizzlies. So the first
Yes,
round,
I like
I'll
that.
give you. I'm gonna give you guys the first 10 picks, and I'll tell you who I know, who I don't. Because the first pick, I didn't know him. I didn't know him. Zachariah Richache, whatever his name, Zachariah. He went small forward from France. Second pick was Alex Saw.
I
Uh,
heard I
third
heard about him.
third pick was Reese Shepherd. I number one. I didn't know him. I didn't know his name, but I know of him because I watched the tournament, so I kind of know him. Uh, Stefan Castle. Didn't know much about him. I watched UConn. I don't. I didn't. When I watched UConn, I didn't pay attention to people's names. I just watched their games. So he was part of UConn's team that won championships. Rob Holland. I think I seen him on OT. I maybe played on OTE, but I don't think so. Second, the Hornets. So now the teams that picked. The first pick went to the Atlanta Hawks, Wizards, Rockets, Spurs, and Rob Holland went to the Pistons. Sixth pick with the Hornets, Ted John Salhon, another French player. Uh, didn't know much about him. Then the first center to go off the board was uh, Donovan Kicklin from to the Blazers. He was the pick. He was technically speaking there. He was supposed, from what I'm hearing, he was in contention to go to the Grizzlies if the Hornets and the Grizzlies did it. If the trade went through,
Mm.
the Grizzlies were looking to pick him instead of Zach Edey. But
Zach Eady is still a good pick though, in
yes,
my opinion.
they on their draft board was Zach. It was either or, but their number one center was Donovan Kiglin, the center. Then Robert Dillingham was up is going to Minnesota, but was drafted by the Spurs, and I believe that's a mistake for
The
the Spurs.
Spurs should have kept him. I think
They
they
should
should
have
have kept him.
they should have kept him. He's a scorer. He was a six man. What 6 man in the ACC? And freshman, he was a 6 man in the SEC. uh, for Kentucky. He was supposed to be the number one prospect coming out of high school before. Shout out to Kanye, man. Kind of robbed his high school career away when he went to the Dunda Academy. That didn't pan out. Zach Edey went to the Grizzlies. Then Cody Williams went to Jazz from Colorado. Cody Williams, I know about him. He was the first McDonald's All-American in a while to go to Colorado. That's how I know about him. But other players that I'm gonna then the rest of the players y'all can go look it up. About the Sixers pick Jeremy McCain, Duke point guard, 6'2". I like him, and that's the person I wanted the Sixers to pick. He can shoot, he like uh he's like those type of players like when they say Terrence Maxey and and Terrence Maxey or Joe is not having a good night, he can pick up the slack, right? You kind of saw that in the tournament when he played for Duke. Kind of that was his coming out party. He had a decent freshman year, but his coming out party and people knowing his name was the tournament where the people that Duke was kind of using earlier in the season were not showing up in the when the lights were brightest. He showed up. The Lakers' first round pick was the Donald Kincaid uh, from Tennessee. He's 23 years old. He's an older draft pick. Funny enough, the video just came out. I saw it this morning. Was how LeBron was talking crazy. Like he's like, yeah, man, I like his game. Like he's like Zach Idiot. He's like, I just watched Tennessee versus Purdue, and that's the game. You if you want to see some good players who can be good in the NBA, Zach Edey and Kincaid are great. Another player I know. I'm just gonna go players I know. Uh, Isaiah Collier went to the Jazz, and so the Jazz drafted a point guard and a shooting guard. So they are trying to build their backcourt because they need a guard play so bad. Uh
They
what
should have drafted Bronny.
well, but if you look at it, drafting Bronny is more of like he still needs to develop. They need somebody who when you watch Bronny's game, right? I'll be honest. I watch a good amount of USC games to tell you what Bronny is as a prospect. Bronny is a good player. Uh, very fundamental. He's that those play. His mentality is defense first and offense later. Like if his team is in a close game and they need him to lock down the top player, guard player, or top guard player on the other team, he's gonna take that assignment. Isaiah Collier was the technically he was one of the top scorers on the UNC. He was the first or second option between him and Boogie Ellis. Uh Problem with Isaiah Collier and why normally his coach in USC used to kind of rotate. He doesn't play good defense. That's number one. He doesn't play good defense. He has a his body type he has a potential to be a good defender. But normally during when you watch UNC, even when they did like the Pac-12 tournament run, you kind of saw the coach kind of preferred having Bronny in there on the late games where it's like they need to win this game and they are like 5 points, right?
Right.
Bronny was preferred to be inside. It's kind of was like when they know that okay, we need to keep this lead and we need Bronny to lock down. Kind of he put Bronny in instead of Collier, and the other reason why Collier kind of had turnover issues. He's an aggressive person. He's like yeah, I remember when
Caitlin Clark.
not Kellen Clark type of thing. I was gonna say like Westbrook. Remember when Westbrook was going for triple double and he just was aggressive passing, no matter if it's not a good pass or a good
True,
option.
true. That's a good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah. So he's that type of player. Like he'll try and get the pass, but sometimes it's not the best option. So it ends up being a turnover. That's the main reason his draft stock dropped, because he was potential being the number one pick beginning of the year, going into his freshman year. But throughout, when you kind of seeing him play and see USC kind of not have a good year, uh, you know, and he dropped down to almost end of the first round. Good player. Uh, just need to fix the turnover issues and kind of go into the Jazz, who have turnover issues themselves at on guard play. It's gonna be I want to see what's gonna happen after that. Now, that's the first round. Let's The second round. To be honest, uh, who do I, who can I, who do I, the second round, there's not much to talk about.
It's alright, bro. We can talk about Bronny.
So the second round,
Bronny,
Bronny James got picked
the Los
by the
Angeles
lake.
Lakers.
But now, for this pick to happen, was Rich Paul had a planning say. So there are some teams that were looking at Bronny and they were talking to Rich Paul, and Rich Paul had told teams not to pick Bronny, because if they pick Bronny, and if it's not the Lakers picking Bronny, and let's say the Celtics pre Bronny who had the pick before, Bronny was going to Australia.
I don't believe that
He's
story.
Well, this is now this came from this is what happened when I was watching the draft. I was coming from work and I was watching throughout. And Bob Myers. If you don't know Bob Myers, you kind of is the reason why the Golden State had the dynasty. He's the one who built the dynasty, and he's close with Rich Paul. So he right before the draft, they were talking about Bronny, and he said he talked to Rich Paul, and Rich Paul had told him his plan. Rich Paul is like, this is what Rich Paul said. He has a plan in place of, just in case other team think of drafting Bronny. This is what he's telling teams, right? So
I
the
still
reason
don't
why
believe
he said that, it was because Bronny worked out for only two teams. He worked out for the Lakers and the Suns. But going into this, the Mavericks became one of the favorites to pick Bronny up, and they're the earlier pick than the Lakers, right?
it.
Uh, and some people are trying to do the, if we pick Bronny, we getting LeBron type of deal.
Well, the Suns would never get him, and the
Yeah.
Mavs. I don't think the Mavs got enough money.
So what it was literally it came out to like to four teams that they had Bronny up there in their second round picks, were the Spurs, the Mavericks, the Suns, and the Lakers.
They forgetting
Bronny,
LeBron is still a top 10 player. Like
yes, that's the
you have to pay
so
him.
so
You can't play
what
that
ha-
veteran minimum shit.
yeah, so when they were talking earlier on the show on ESPN with Stephen A, it was Stephen A, Bob Myers, and Woj. They were talking about, and Stephen A, first of all, Stephen A was trying to be funny. He said, he's like, let me just fantasize for a little bit. What if with the 38th pick, right? That was the Knicks. Stephen A is a big Knicks fan. He's like, what if the Knicks pick up Bronny so that LeBron comes to the Knicks? And Woj was like, that doesn't make sense, because we know LeBron is not taking the veteran minimum, right? And the Knicks don't have the cash space. That's when Bob Myers came in and said, first of all, that's not gonna happen. Number two, it's like right before with the show, 15 minutes before the show, I was talking to Rich Paul, and he said there's a plan in place to make sure Bronny goes to the Lakers. And he kind of said, this is first of all, he's like, this is not new. When he said it, he's like, first of all, this is not new. He's like, I was in draft rooms where literally, like, it's like the Austin Reeves type of deal. When Austin Reeves told teams like, don't draft me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also we came out and said, yes, I talked to some teams, and I literally, these like teams that were not going to championship, they were not championship ready. I told them not to draft me. He's like, it's the same deal. He's like, Bama is like, yeah, I remember when we were about to draft Austin Reeves, and his agent said, nah, he's not coming, because it was right after our year there, the bad year, the Golden State had a bad year,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Austin Reeves didn't know where they were going. He's like, yeah, that's true. So he's like, Rich Paul, he's saying, he's like, this is what Rich Paul he's like, this is what he's hearing from other GMs, because let's be honest, the only person who I believe on that panel was Woj and Bob Myers. And because Bob Myers was a GM for the Golden State Warriors, and he knows what he's talking about, and he still has connections with other GMs in the league. So he said this is what he was this is what he was hearing from other GMs, is saying that literally is that when we trying to inquire about Bronny, and we're talking to Rich Paul already has told them, if you want to drive Bronny, it's on your own risk, because he's not coming. He's telling them, I'm not he's going to Australia. And I believe him, because let's be honest, Rich Paul has connections with the NBL in Australia. When Darius Baisley, when he had like this whole issue of not going to college, he was the first player, not the first top prospect not to go to college. Uh he went to the NBL, and he was like a low first round pick, a low lottery pick. And most people who are signed to class who don't want to go to college, they kind of go to the NBL, right? So I was like, okay, cool. So the when the pick happened, Watch announced saying, first of all, this was a done deal for months. It's like everyone knew he was going to the Lakers. Even when they were interviewing for coaches to coach the Lakers, for example, Don Haley, the coach for UConn, when they were in the interview process with him, he said the majority of his interview was based on Bronny and their development of Bronny.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even when JJ Redick was getting interviewed, he was asked how is he gonna help develop Bronny. So the Lakers already had planned with the 55th pick they were gonna pick Bronny no matter what. And it is a and first of all, it's kind of in their nature to do so, because they have a, a history to take care of their legacy players. Like they gave Kobe a 4-year contract when he was near the end of his career. Yeah, so this is like I kind of take care of LeBron, saying we're gonna draft your son, and it's also trying to send message to other superstars who are gonna say, hey, if you come to the Lakers, this is what we're willing to do. We will take care of you and your legacy. Let's say your son is about to come to the league, we can draft your son too.
Mm-hmm.
So he got drafted. I don't know where he was, but they didn't show him on TV. But if you go to Instagram, you see his reaction to him getting drafted. I didn't see LeBron in the videos, but I saw his brother Bryce was the first one to put out the video of where they were watching the draft from. He was sitting next to Rich Paul, and his mother was holding the draft cap. After the phone call happened, she went and picked up the Lakers draft cap, gave it to him. He was crying. Uh but then let's talk about Rich Paul. Rich Paul has been doing podcasts. He was on the Gilbert Arenas podcast. He was
Mm-hmm.
on the Pivot podcast, and they were talking on the Gilbert Arenas podcast. It was more of like he has come. It was not about his thing. He has been on the Gilbert Arenas podcast some multiple times. They were talking about Bronny, and Gilbert said, to be honest, people don't get Bronny because they've never been around Bronny. He's like, Bronny is gonna be a good pro. And on the pivot, they kind of talked about the Bronny situation and why he said he's not signing a 2-way contract. And he kind of explained, he's like, it's not that I'm not. It's like, it's technically speaking, it's not that I'm not saying I don't like it. Is that I don't like it because most of these players don't know what a 2-way contract is. Your money is not guaranteed. You just want to hear your name being called, but they're giving you a 2-way contract and your money is not guaranteed. Is that I'd rather you get a guaranteed money. If they want to develop you and go to the J League, it's fine. But you get that 4-year guaranteed money. That's what he wants. He's like, because if you're a 2-way contract, they'll get rid of you after 1 year. So they're not literally, it's like a scapegoat for their, trying to get rid of after 1 year. So he's like, so that's why he's like, everyone in the NBA and the GMs kind of already know that I'm against signing 2-way contract. Is like every person who was in the draft under clutch and they were drafting the second one didn't sign a 2-way contract. They signed 4-year contracts, even though they went and played in the G League their first year or 2 years. They were on full-year contracts is because I want the teams to invest in the talent like I invest in my time in this player. It's an investment. It's like we trying to get these players to develop in a year. So with 2-way contracts, they can get rid of you after 1 year. And I was like, okay, I understand what he's saying. Then he kind of explained on the Bronny. If you know Bronny, now let's talk to the other haters. Bronny didn't have the typical college season of Bronny was not typical. He had a cardiac arrest. Literally, it's about to be a year now since that day happened, right? When he had a cardiac arrest. So Rich Paul kind of talked about that day, literally the day in whole, and what happened leading up to the cardiac arrest. He's like, I was in Atlanta and he's like, I was in Atlanta and we were, he's like, first of all, I've connections with every college team. I have people in the college. He's like, so I was in Atlanta and I just had got a call from somebody who was in practice saying, I think it was not practice, but somebody who was during the practice and sent me a phone, gave me a phone call saying, "Yo, Bronny was the best player on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best player on the last few weeks. He's like top two best players on the floor." He's like, so we go out. He's like, literally not even 5 hours later, I get a phone call about Bronny's cardiac arrest. He's like, I had a business meeting in Atlanta. I canceled that and I was like, yo, I need to fly back home. He's like, this is not about, it wasn't about, him as a client, anything. He's like, this is my nephew. He's like, this is my family, right? He's like, so I had to fly back home to make sure, you getting that message, you getting that phone call like, yo, your nephew just went on cardiac arrest. You like you kind of feel that that type of feeling like, yo, I need to do whatever I have to do to get back to my nephew. He's like he's like this what I clicked to me. He's like, first of all, we are not me and Bronny are not talked about signing with me. He's like, because there was a difference. He's like, I have a relationship with him as like an uncle type of uncle nephew. So we didn't talk business. And the other thing is like if I wanted to sign him, I wanted to see how him like, see his work ethic. He's like, I know Bronny. He's like, I know his work ethic. But I wanted to see how it translated to college where he has the freedom, not his dad kind of forcing him to do stuff or his dad kind of monitoring everything.
Right.
He's like, because when he went to college, literally, he's like, he literally left. Leo left and chose to stay at the dorm. He didn't stay with his mom or dad, even though he had an option. I think I remember when LeBron broke the record and he literally said after he broke the record and they asked him like your family was here. He's like, yeah, that's crazy. He's like, my older son, this is the first time seeing him in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, my first time seeing him in 3 weeks. He's like he's been gone for 3 weeks. He has not come home. He has not texted me. Nothing. We have not talked in 3 weeks. So he's like when he came to the hospital, they told him the situation. He's like right after the surgery, the first thing he did was he asked for his tablet and he started watching film. Is that so when it came to the time for the draft and him saying he wants to think about the draft and putting his name in the transfer portal, and we kind of went through the draft process, it was the way he took it. It's like he didn't use he's like I kind of started treating him like okay, here's my client, so I'm not gonna use his day. I'm not just gonna say okay, I'm doing this meeting with LeBron and Bronny. I'm gonna treat him like everyone else. You're my client. I do a meeting with you alone, with nobody else. So that's what I heard. But hey, the Sixers. The Sixers second round pick was I think he's what 7 foot, what a 6'8" center from UCLA, a good defender.
Hmm.
Ad Ahmed Obona. He has a 7'4" wingspan. Yeah, I like number one. Strengths. This is the draft pre-draft analysis. A best physical tools in this draft. He has outstanding mobility, explosiveness, a 7'4" wingspan. He has non-stop intensity, physicality, ability to cover ground seamlessly, to give him a clear role in the NBA level if he can improve his discipline on both ends. As weakness, as well as Bonner finishes lobs and covers ground defense. He has plagued by fouls and turnovers last season. Isn't a defensive rebounder you might hope due to his average feel for the game. Yeah, yeah. The verdict: the Nigerian-born big man had an up and down season on a disappointing UCLA team, but he has several key in, ingredients that should allow him to thrive in a protested role as a finisher and switch defender as he add more polish to his game. Uh to be honest, I didn't know I thought he was 7 foot, but he's listed as 6'8". I don't want
Yeah,
another 6'8" type of guard center who doesn't know how to shoot. That's Paul Reed. We already have Paul Reed, a person who's a 6'9", 6'X center who doesn't know how to shoot.
they might get rid of Paul Reed.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't care
It looked
much.
like they drafted the exact same player.
It's not. It's a exact same player with more. He's more defensive minded. He can block. His highlights is more like he likes to defend. He's like the block shot, but he also has foul troubles and turnovers.
Hmm.
The other thing, I don't know if he knows how to shoot, but from here they say he likes to lobs. So he's like a lob threat, and I don't really like having
DeAndre Jordan,
great. Plus, Bonner is one of the
6'8" DeAndre Jordan.
so this is the pro draft analysis. Bonner is one of the best hardest playing bigs in the draft and can provide immediate utility to the Sixers cover coming off the bench behind Joel Embiid, a quality rebounder, a competitive defender who will do the dirty work. Okay, I like that. We needed somebody who does that. Bonner has a high mix of teams higher in the draft, looking like he's a nice value pick for the Sixers. I like that. I do like it. I do like it. Uh but I need him, kind of, I maybe in shoes he's like, some people are like 6'8" without shoes. I want to see how like with shoes how old.
They could be lying too. Do you know they lie about heights before when people get drafted, right?
Yeah.
They said Bradley Beal was
Yeah.
6'6",
Now
but he's the
now
same
let's
height as John Wall.
Yeah, now let this is we go while we here we let's just talk about is Bronny's pre-draft analysis. James is an explosive guy with a strong defensive versatility who's up upwards trajectories out of high school was interrupted by a medical emergency that derailed his freshman season. He underwent procedure last summer to repair a cardiac arrest defect. Was cleared to be drafted by the NBA fitness panel. Wigner did not have overall productive season at USC, averaged 4.3 points per game, standing under just under 6 foot three is in shoes. He's not a dynamic ball handler or shot creator. Lack accessiveness at times. To be honest, it's not that he lacks; he just doesn't want to do it. Sometimes he just I don't know what you need to do. I don't know what for Bronny. Here's what the verdict. Bronny May thrive, uh thrives as a senior. Uh, you know, as a senior. Uh, at the same time, I'm watching the Olympics here. Thrives as a senior in high school, an impressive showing a spring All-Star summit that had a difficult time finding a footing in USC, especially score. His strong feel for the game and length frame, but and a boggling shot making powerness and competitive defensively gives him a plenty things to work with in the long term if he can get back to uh, the encouraging track he was on before his cardiac arrest. Okay, that's what they said about Brownie. Uh, I can't tell you much about that. So, uh, uh, now let's talk about what else about to look at? That's so so I want to say that's what they said about Bronny and everything. Now, while we were still on basketball, the W free agent stats, this I want to say this week, but I'll be lying. I don't know exactly. Is it
Loki
this
started
week?
already. People are already trading players and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think the people
but
that don't have a contract, they didn't start
yeah,
yet.
but free agent stats this in a few weeks or in a week or so. But
Hmm.
uh there are people who are still without. Paul George has a player option. Uh,
Please come to Philly, bro.
there
Please
are
come to
some.
Philly.
There are a lot of players this is like a more star-studded draft and everything. Uh, so yeah, we'll see what happens in the thing in the free agency. But while we're still on basketball, WNBA on Sunday, we had the Kellen, Kellen Clark and Angel Reese third matchup in the pros, and this was the first time Angel Reese won.
Hmm.
And she had 25 points, 18 rebounds, came back from a 15-point deficit, and she was talking smack, man. She actually she was not even talking. Now, I want to say this. This is me personally, and I want to say this. Uh the more I see Kellen Clark, the more I see Kellen Clark's play, the more I don't like her. Now, I'm not saying her as a player, but her body language, I don't like it. Because there's a video, if y'all go look, I think it went viral when one of her teammates takes a three and she wanted to take she was calling for the ball. One of the teammates takes a three and she had like the body line, like, why did you take the three? She made it. And everyone, she like, she didn't celebrate. She just looked like, okay, you made the three and kept walked back. And that's not even the first time she has done that. She has done that even like the second game in the season. She was talking crazy about her teammates to her coach, like saying something. You can't hear the audio, but you look that she was frustrated with her teammates. The more I watch her, the more I feel like uh her attitude needs to change sometimes because you're on national TV, bro. You can't show that because your teammate took a three and your body language is that poor. Like, bro, why did you take the three? You know,
Can that teammate shoot threes?
she made the three.
Yeah, but can she shoot threes? Some
I'm not, s-
people can make a three, and they ain't supposed to be shooting no damn three.
but I
Was she
think
out there? Is that Andre Roberson, or is that Ray Allen? It's different. It's different. And also,
but
she from the school of Kobe. Y'all gotta realize that Caitlyn is from that school with Kobe, and
I
Paige
don't think so.
Buckets. Y'all gonna notice it, but Paige Buckets when she get drafted, she's from the school of Kobe.
No,
People from
Paige
the
is
school of Kobe don't like their teammates, and it's cool. It's
no
okay.
now
It's
for
okay. They
Kellen
don't like their teammates, bro.
for
If
Kellen
you
Clark.
not good, you shouldn't be talking.
I don't lie. When I look at Karen Clark, you just say Paige Buckets. Paige Buckets is different from Karen Clark. Karen Clark would try and give her teammates, even though it's the probably the worst for her team to do so, because they talked about it after the game. It's like, did you think you should have taken more shots near the end of the game? And she said, nah, I don't. Yeah, we can talk. We should coulda. I should have taken a few more threes. It's like I trust my teammates. I 13 assists. That means 13 of my teammates scored 13 for my passes. She has a Kobe mentality at the same time she doesn't. Paige Buckets and Juju Watkins are born from the Kobe mentality. It's me or nobody. We're gonna go as much as I take y'all.
But you gotta realize too, these girls be on teams with other people that don't be that good. Like
Yeah,
you know what I
I
realized
gonna lie.
about
The
Caitlin
fit
Clark's turnovers? Her turnovers is not her making bad passes or getting stripped or not being able to dribble. A lot of her turnovers be people dropping fucking passes.
no, I gonna lie.
It's too many of y'all dropping passes.
The
It's too
fever.
many of y'all missing layups. It's too
I gonna
much.
lie. The fever is that team is terrible. Not terrible,
Terrible.
but is like they were like
It
the last.
it's
That
her,
the reason the fever is literally is here and Boston
Aaliyah
are the
Boston.
only Aliyah Boston are that's the whole team.
The rest of the team,
There are some players on the team that I
bro.
like. The girl who was who gave Karen Clark her chain when they did the media thing, and Karen Clark literally character were doing the media thing, and Karen Clark just came and she just like the girl was like, Karen Clark was like, hey man, I think I'm part of the gang now, and then she's like, we are not saying gang, Kellen. You cool and all, but we are not saying gang. You know,
Like I don't even want to sound like a Caitlin Clark, fan or nothing, but like,
I'm not.
bro, I'm dead ass. It's her, it's Aaliyah Boston, and it's the coach. That's it. It's
I
it.
the coach,
Like,
I
and
don't know
even the
you.
coach is a little shaky, bro. Because I would have been cussing people out for dropping these passes, bro. Like, it's no reason that we going on 20, 30 games in the season and she's still getting 5, 6 turnovers. Yo, catch the pass. Like, yo, it be like a 3/4 court beam, like straight clean, and you drop the pass. Or she'll pass it to you, nobody on you. You over there doing pump fakes, missing layups. Fam, oh my god, I would have traded everybody. I would have just made Aaliyah Boston and what's her name just go 2v5, bro. Y'all niggas, dog. Some of those you really gotta watch it. Like some of those plays is just disgusting. Like
Uh-huh.
so, yeah. She's a great player. She doing her thing, but
Yeah.
I don't think she really like her players. Like those people that can't play. Like it's some people that can play, but the coach
Yeah.
ain't really letting them, or they don't let them shine in certain places. Nah, those that can't play, bro. She's not about to sit there and let you take a three and just be happy about it. No, I wouldn't be happy about it either. If you can't shoot, don't be shooting the ball. Don't shoot the ball if you can't shoot. Like, what are you doing? Shaq ain't shoot threes. Like, what do you go sit down, bro? Like, yo, nah. Nah, I agree with her, dog. Kick rocks. Kick fucking rocks.
She said kickbacks.
Something wrong with
Uh,
her.
yeah. All right. All right. You know, if y'all see me that I'm paying attention, yo, everyone who's watching right now, if y'all see me that I'm not really paying attention to the camera, is because I'm watching the U.S. Olympic trials as we speak. And so, you know what? Let's talk about the U.S. Olympic trials, right? Uh, there's some sad news to speak. In the same time, this shows that sometimes you gotta be bad like sometimes bad like happens, right? So the reigning gold medal, Olympic gold medalist, and I think this is why I believe if you are the reigning gold Olympic medalist, you should just automatically go to the Olympics to defend your crown, right? But you don't have to go through the trials. I believe that if you're a gold medalist on any field, you just get your automatic Olympic, you know, go to the Olympics. I don't know if that makes sense, but the women's 800 gold Olympic champion, uh, Athene Mo, is now going to the Olympics. She's now going to be in France, and she won't be able to defend her title. Reason why she lost in the U.S. trials, and it wasn't that she got beat, because she fell when they were doing. So when you run the 800 mile, you start like how everyone starts their race, or the 200, like in different lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Then after like the first lap, not the first lap, after 300 meters, like three quarters of the first lap, everyone goes into one lane, and you run the rest of the race in that one lane. So they were doing that in the transition to do that, to go into the one lane. She got into the one lane and she got tripped because everyone was staggering together. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She got tripped, she fell, and she could not make. Then when she got up, it was too late. Right?
Wait, is
And
this the video of the lady? She didn't win the race, right?
not the lady that fell and hit the scoreboard. No,
No,
that was
it's a lady that fell. I don't know if it's an old video. She fell and then
mm,
got back up and won the race. She still
no.
won the race. Oh,
That's not that lady.
that
That was a
that video's
long
crazy.
that was a different longer distance. 200 meters, bro. 800 meters is two laps. If you fall after 300 meters, you already lost the goddamn race, because they're picking up the pace after they hear the bell,
Right.
and that's you trying to beat nine other people. That's crazy. Trying to come back from 9 to 1. That's kind of crazy. So she didn't make the team. You kind of see her fight. You kind of saw her emotions come out, and that's why I was like, this is the reason why I believe if you're a gold medalist. I didn't say every medalist. I said gold medalist. If you have a gold medal in that event from the previous Olympics, you should automatically come back to the Olympics to at least defend your title. That's me, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to be in Paris. And that's sad for the United States, because she probably would have made it, should have made it a good, made the United States win more gold in in the 400, in the 800, in the 4x4. But we got a Shakira Richardson. She's going to the Olympics. She makes the team. She already had made the team the last Olympics in 2021, but could not make it because she got suspended because of the weed in her system and blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah. So she was
All that
suspended
stuff.
for
Yeah.
a whole month, and she could not make it because the end of suspension. That's when the Olympics already started, and she could not make the time to the you know to back at the time where She, it was during the COVID thing, so it was already locked down. Uh, so Shakira is making a first Olympics. We have you know, Noah Lyles is gonna be going as the favorite in the Olympics to win the 800 meters. We don't have no Jamaicans to threaten him because Usain Bolt retired. There's no Jamaicans in the men's side to threaten Noah Lyles. So Noah Lyles should come back with the gold. We have a high schooler. Now we gotta talk about this high schooler real quick. He's 16 years old and he might go to the Olympics. He didn't make the team officially, but he might go to the Olympics as a 4x4 team because he made it to the. So this is what happens in the Olympic trials. If you make it to the final, you're in the pool to go in the relay team. Then it depends on what you ran in the final and what place you came. So he came in, I want to say fifth. So he can make it on the relay team because he can be in the like the qualifying team. Then if he perform good there, he can finally, after everyone, after the other people, the other three people who made the team on their individual race, if they choose not to run the relay, he can be on the team for the final. So that's plus for him. Hopefully he makes it to, to France.
Mm-hmm.
He does. Number one, he was talking about that he doesn't have his driver's license, and he was planning to get his driver's license uh uh you know test taken. Well, you say first of all he just turned 16, so you can't take it because you gotta be 16 and 9 months. And he said, and I was planning to take it after the trial. He's like, I was planning to take it next month, but if I make the team, I don't know where I'm gonna take this shit. It might as well just not take it at all. It's like, man, there's no point. I'll take it next year. Hey, man, you can take it whenever you want. I haven't taken mine either, so I'm just saying. But yes. Right now, shout out to right now. I'm watching the Olympics. The trials. We have the 200 meters. You
Mm-hmm.
know. Round one, Shakira Richardson just ran. She ran like at 21, a sub 22 in the 200 meters, and she looked great. She looks like she's ready to make the team again, even though she's on the team already. But she looked like she's ready to make it for the 200 meters. We're gonna see the boys run in like in a few hours, like a few minutes from now. But yeah, uh, that's other news. Now let's talk. We talked about this a little bit on the stream, but I wanted to bring because I forgot that I screenshotted because I was gonna bring it up on the podcast, right? So we talked about the David Haney. If you watch our stream, we ain't gonna go in detail, but this is what David Haney has said, and he has said more after our stream. So we are going to talk about that. Devin Haney has declared that he's planning to take further legal actions against Ryan Garcia following the 1 year drug ban. Haney abandoned said he'll be any more for the next fight that had abandoned that he will be any more for the next fight. He had the Garcia situation never had happened, believes that Sandro Martinez Presby shows is this to be true. My lawyer will do what they have gotta do to prove that in court against Ryan. We will take legal actions because it affected me not only financially but mentally and everything. That's what he told somebody a few days ago. Then on Monday, right? On Monday, a combat or daily. The NYSAC has now come under heavy fire on Monday. It has been leaked by one of the labs that Ryan Garcia initial pre and post fight urine tests conducted by them initial screen negative for Austrian, Ostra, or starring, or starring, right? The NCI retest Mr. Garcia's negative sample was after failing VADA is clear violation of New York state law. It would be equivalent for suspected suspect being found not guilty, then the DA office finding a new jury with new set of guidelines to find them guilty. So I don't know, you know, I don't know what that's what it was happening. But Ryan, Devin Haney was on a podcast, I want to say yesterday night, and he said he wants to get it back in blood. God damn, right, Devin Haney, you finally woke up, man. I like it. I like the attitude now because you say you want to get it back in blood. You should have said that before all this. You now grew some balls in like 24 hours. Maybe you watch our stream. We were clowning you on the stream, man. But
Think you get cooked on that stream.
at the same time, I don't. Your actions speak louder than what you're saying. So technically speaking, until you prove me wrong, I don't like it. I don't like you. Uh, Shout out, yeah, man. Oh, you about to see the boy. Sidney McLaughlin is about to run right now. If you watch, if you everyone is watching, look at his boyfriend or his husband used to play in the NFL. So that's crazy that his husband is sitting away from her family. That's crazy. But that's I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. Uh, yeah. Now that's one. What else? There was something else I was gonna talk about, but I forgot.
Yeah, I
Mm,
think Haney, bro.
oh yeah,
I'm glad he finally woke up, but
yeah,
I
man,
still
man.
think he gonna lose though.
Yeah,
He gonna get cooked.
yeah. Uh, there was something else that was not related. That was related to a different sport, but I don't know which sport I was thinking of. But I'll think about it later. Uh, oh yeah, we gotta talk about some. I don't know if you watch. Have you ever watched Power?
You know,
I think you need to watch Power. Well, technically, you getting into Power now is kind of ridiculous because this is the final season. But she is ahead. You're saying this is not fair, Sidney McLaughlin. This is not fair. Bro, you are 50 meters ahead of everybody. Stop it. Why are you running hurdles? You should have just kept the original plan and run the 400 flat. If you're gonna run the hurdles this far, they are not matched to you. You are 3 seconds ahead. The next best person had you were 3 seconds ahead. Now that's kind of equivalent of like you just watch them in like racing, but she was up. She was way up. This is like she just doing this just to have, bro. She broke. I remember she broke the. The reason why I'm saying this is not fair. Cindy McLaughlin last before she got to the Olympics, she broke the record 3 times. The world record. She broke her own record 3 times. And she didn't break it like in like a few months. Within a month span, she broke it 3 times.
nice.
That's how that's how crazy. She broke it at the US trials, then she broke it at the Olympics semifinal. Then in the final, she broke the record that she set at the semifinal. That's how fast she ran. And I'm like, bro, this is ridiculous. She should have just ran because she was supposed to run the 400 flat and the 200 or something like that. I forgot. But she's told it. She's like, nah, I'm just gonna keep track. I'm gonna keep running the 400 hurdles. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, I watch Power. I want to talk about Power real quick, man. 50 Cent. I understand stars cancel it. I need you. You need to find a new streaming site, man. You can't cancel Power. 50. You can't cancel Power. This is gonna be sad at the same time true. Power is the best show on stars. I know they're trying to focus on BMF. BMF can't do what Power just did, bro. Power with Tariq and Braden, this show is crazy. You got, bro. They recreated Power. They recreated Ghost and Tommy, but with younger version and more craziness. Oh, Tara Davis Woodhull. This is the funniest thing. Let's see she's jumping. There's long jump happening. Like, I'm kind of paying attention to that too. But yeah, there's a lot of things happening, man. WWE. There's a lot of things happening in WWE. You know what? Let's talk about that real quick. I'll go lie. Triple H. I want to commend you, man.
He's
This is
cooking,
one
bro. Still cooking.
man. Your storytelling is, oh my god. Now you know that I said I think after the WrestleMania in Philly, he said after Roman Reigns lost, he said, "Bro, Roman Reigns' story is just beginning." And I'm like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "Wait, time out." I'm like, "Did you just say just beginning?" I'm like, "This man hold the title over 3,000 days, almost over 4 years, right?" And you just saying his story is just beginning. What? Not 3,000. It was like over some type of 1,000 days, but he said his story is just beginning. I'm like, Triple H, do you know beginning or are you crazy? His story is supposed to be at the end by now. He's like, nah, we get into the meat and potatoes. Okay. I didn't know what he meant with the meat and potatoes until I saw what they are cooking right now. Man, I want to say, man, I had to check, I was watching WWE. Number one, I'll let y'all know. Since Roman Reigns has left for since he lost, it's been hard for me to watch SmackDown. And the reason why, there's no interesting thing. Cody Rhodes is supposed to be first of SmackDown, and he's not really doing a great job making SmackDown relevant until now. Right? Solo Sikoa started the fake bloodline, and I'm gonna call it the fake bloodline because it's not the bloodline, because they're not related. Except for the person that got introduced last week. Yes, he is related to Solo, but the rest are not related to Solo, so it's not the bloodline. They are fake dogs. They are dogs. Like I said last week, they are dogs with just suits. They're not related to the bloodline. They're just dogs. So Solo finally started, kind of, they're starting to incorporate Cody back into this bloodline storyline, right? Because Solo wants to get back the title that the Bloodline had, that Cody has, right? So this is how what happened. So they were in Chicago, and everybody who knows WWE, right, who been watching WWE now since WrestleMania, since the year began, we know there's a certain superstar that came back to WWE after 10 years. That superstar's name is CM Punk. CM Punk came back to WWE. And if you know where CM Punk, if the first of all, if you know CM Punk's himself, his whole theme, his whole character is based on Chicago. The color on his logo, the color on his attire, the color on his merchandise is Chicago. So you know where he's from. He's from Chicago. So every time they do a show in Chicago, CM Punk normally shows up.
Mm-hmm.
They did that with Raw, even though he was injured. He was injured. He's still injured, but and he's recovering. I guess he's recovering. Uh, he's getting back to be cleared. what happens? He came back. He they did that with Raw, and that they were in Chicago SmackDown. So he opened up SmackDown. So when he opened up SmackDown, a normal human, said Chicago things. He was making fun of Drew McIntyre because he caused Drew McIntyre the title match again. And to be honest, I kind of predicted that, and I talked about it last week. So he caused Drew McIntyre the title, right? Cool. Drew McIntyre kind of quit WWE. Not really, but he kind of quit. It's kind of weird.
Mhm.
Storyline wise, he quit. Then CM Punk was making fun of him, talking about. Then Paul Heyman comes out. I'm like, Paul, why are you coming out? All right, I'm watching I'm like, Paul, why are you out? Why are you out here? CM Punk has nothing to do with the bloodline. He has nothing to do with Solo Sikoa. Why are you coming out? So Paul comes out. He's like, Shut up, CM." He's like, "What's up, CM Punk? We in Chicago." He's like, "We were driving up here. They were saying Chicago is CM Punk's town." CM Punk was like, "Okay, doesn't explain why you out here." Before even now, crazy thing, before even CM Punk even started talking, all Paul Heyman started talking. When Paul Heyman came, "My name is Paul Heyman," like his whole gimmick thing, right? The crowd didn't let Paul Heyman talk a lot. He started, and then when he finished his introduction with his name, he's like, "I'm here, blah, blah, blah. I'm the wise man to the bloodline, blah, 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 the tribal chief," right? Now he doesn't even know who's the tribal chief, but he's the wise man to the bloodline. And the crowd started saying, "We want Roman." We want Roman. Yeah, you can hear through the TV what the crowd is saying. It's like, "We want Roman." CM Punk kind of calmed down the crowd. He's like, "There's only one man who's gonna interrupt my promo and had the crowd say, 'We want Roman.'" He's like, "What do you want, Paul?" He's like, "We're in Chicago." He's like, I was driving up here, and on the radio they say Chicago was CM Punk's town. He's like, "But at the same time, there's somebody who heard that too, and he kind of got pissed." He's like, "Solo Sikoa got pissed because they say, Chicago is CM Punk's town." And I'm like, "Why is Solo pissed that they say Chicago is CM Punk's town?" He's like, "Because he wants every town that we go to be his town." I'm like, Solo should not be the one saying he wants every town to be his town. This nigga is coming off a losing record. He hasn't won a match in over a year. Why is he wants every town to be his town? He's like, so he said he they about jump you. I'm like, does he know who he talking to? CM Punk is the king of, "I don't give a damn. Y'all can come and I'm still gonna beat y'all." I'm like, he might be injured, but this is not a great idea to jump CM Punk in Chicago. So CM Punk said, like the way I'm watching it, and this was CM Punk giving his reply. He said, "So you telling me if I don't leave right now, they're jumping me in Chicago?" CM Punk is like started laughing. Right before he even finished saying what he was about to say, Solo Sikoa and his thugs come out, right? And his thugs. I'm emphasizing thugs. I don't care if they put on TV the bloodline. They are not bloodline. They are thugs. They should put thugs. He comes out with his thugs, right? And they are talking about it. He's like, he's like, "I'm giving you one chance to acknowledge me and get out the town." CM Punk is like, "Okay." Because so before Paul Heyman had said, "You need to leave," he said, "Can you do me a favor? I want you to do me a favor and I'll do you a favor." Right? So his favor was telling him that he's about to get jumped. Paul Heyman's favor was telling him he's about to get jumped. So CM Punk, because Solo interrupted the whole promo again, CM Punk was like, "Yo, Paul, what's the favor you want me to do for you? If I do you this favor, what do you want me to do for you?" He's like, "Oh, I want you to take me with you." I was like, God damn. I was like, Paul Heyman is to the point where he's the one to go back with CM Punk. This is sad. So Paul Heyman was like, he's like, so this is what CM Punk says to Solo. He's like, I acknowledge, you know, like trying to play on with what Roman used to say, acknowledge me. He's like, I acknowledge that this is not the bloodline. This is just a fake ex Usos and a cosplay wanna be tribal chief. I started cracking up. I was like, that's what I'm saying. They are not the bloodline. And every superstar there that has interacted with Solo Sikoa and the new bloodline, they've been saying the same thing, that they're not the bloodline. That's why Solo feels some type of way. Because everyone is saying you are not the bloodline, you're just fake thugs. Right? And the person who started this whole thing was his name Kevin Owens started this whole saying that you guys are not the bloodline, you are just thugs. He's like the Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns were the bloodline, and that's it. These are not the bloodline. So he started calling them thugs.
Mm.
Sort of felt some type of he there about to jump CM Punk. CM Punk is take off his jacket, he's about to fight them by himself. Then Cody comes out of nowhere with baseball bats in his hand. I'm like, Cody, where did you come from? Where did you get these baseball bats? First of all, where did you come from? And why you have baseball bats in hand? So he said, oh, so you the new head of the table. He said, I already beat the head of the table this year. What if we might as well just take another one? You know. So they made the match for later that night. He said, you keep your team, your people behind, I'll keep mine. Meaning Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. That's Cody's team, right? He's like, Cody is a Randy Orton who stay behind. You keep your thugs behind, right? So let's
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, cool. So Cody goes backstage, and while he went backstage, uh, when he goes backstage, the whom Randy Orton and Kevin Owens is like, "Are you sure you want to do this by yourself?" All right. He's like, Solo might have a plan up his sleeve, and Cody's like, "I have a plan too." He's like, "Yeah, I have a plan too." I'm like, Cody, your plan gotta be solid because I don't know what Solo has planned, right? So the match happens, and the match didn't happen. To be honest, the match didn't go as long because the dogs interrupted and made
Mm-hmm.
Cody win. The Cody win by disqualification. So they started jumping Cody. Then
Mm-hmm.
Then I was about to say Roman Reigns. Then Randy Orton and Kevin Owens came out to help, to help out Cody. Then the debut. Everyone who's been watching WWE, not wrestling since WrestleMania, there's a name that you've been keep hearing that was signed by WWE, but he was not on TV because they were scared of his ability and his aura to take over, to outshine Solo. He was supposed to be incorporated into the new bloodline, but they kind of kept him away because they wanted to develop Solo's character first, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for months he was not on TV, and his name is Jacko Fatu. And I see why WWE didn't want him to debut so early, because this man literally just. I mean, when he put, I forgot that Solo is supposed to be the head of the table because he acted. His aura himself was boss type of aura. I go lie. When you watch WWE, you watching a show. It's like watching your favorite TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So you their storylines. So he comes out, he takes out everybody, and he doesn't even have the emotion of, like, his emotion is emotionless. So like tries to hug him, he's like this, looking so mad and kind of more emotion, no emotions and everything. They did the one thing, you kind of see the thugs are looking at him like, why are you here? Like, you just called somebody that we didn't want to be called. That look, it's like you paying attention to the little details. With Triple H say, you gotta pay attention to the little details now when you watch WWE. So when they did like the one, like when they're so they do like the pick put the ones up, right, to acknowledge the bloodline. We the ones, the thugs. That the reason why I call them thugs is Tonga. The Tongans were looking at Jekyll Fatu with the side eye, like, bro, why, what, who, why is he here, right? Like they're kind of feeling some type of way, right? So they did that. Uh, at the same time, now we're gonna talk about a Raw. They have another storyline. I told you about the Y6, and the Y6 are still on their shenanigans. Pat McAfee was not a WWE Raw commentary this week. Storyline wise, they thought that he got kidnapped by the Y6, but in real life, he didn't come. He had an emergency with his family. His father-in-law passed away in real life. So that literally that right before he had to do WWE, his father-in-law passed away. He got the phone call from his wife saying that his father-in-law passed away. Uh, because he had like what an accident the weekend, and they were told that they already infection something like that. So they already had figured it out what was wrong with him. So they were all hopefully like he's gonna be okay. That's what the doctors had told him. And literally, he's like literally out of nowhere, he had passed away. He got a phone call from his wife saying that he passed away and everything. So that's what happened. So he was not at Raw, but if you watch the Pat McAfee show, you kind of saw the Y6 was kind of the glitching on TV that the Y6 did for months before they showed up happened on Pat McAfee show. One time the show ended early, like the whole week the show was ending early on Pat McAfee show. Like before, like the time slot on ESPN that he was given, he ended early. And
Right.
before after it went dark, and they say you lied and you lied and everything, right? So that's all happened. Then on Monday, because he wasn't there, the Y6 showed up because Chad Gable, I guess their storyline was with Chad Gable or something like that. Chad Gable somehow survived a shot on the head, but he survived it. I don't know how he did, but he survived a shot on the head. So he comes out. He talked about he had a promo. He won his match. Then the Y6 showed up, but not all five of them. But the lady, Sister Abigail, showed up with the spookiness. She had a gift directed to Pat McAfee, and there was a VHS tape for kids. VHS tape that's old man. So he had a VHS tape to put it up, and it was Bo Dallas talking to Uncle Howdy, and they were talking about how he felt. Bo Dallas, his actual real name is Taylor. What some I forgot his last name, but his brother was Bray Wyatt, right? So he would do because Bray Wyatt passed away a few year ago. So they were talking about how his brother passed away, how he felt and everything, and people thinking that he's using his brothers, you know, to promote it, his brother's there to promote his career up. And he said, I'm not promoting my brother to promote my career. It's more of I'm using my brothers, I'm proving my brother's legacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he was talking about. And so, so when he's talking about that and everything, he talked about how he felt. He's like, and yesterday we reminded people yesterday. He's like, we reminded them. We reminded them. We reminded them, He's like, yeah, he's like on last week we reminded them. And Uncle Howdy, who's Bo Dallas on the kind of editing wise, Uncle Howdy's talking to Bo Dallas at the same time. Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas, He said, "Yes, we did. Yes, we did." And I was like, and so after the video, I'm like, what does this have to do with Pat McAfee? Like, I'm confused. That was before I found out that Pat McAfee's father-in-law passed away. He said that on Tuesday, and on Monday he wasn't there on Raw. So I'm like, what does that have to do with Pat McAfee and something? Now, another story that's happening is uh freaking Dominic Mysterio is having a love triangle on WWE, and with Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan is doing everything she can to get this man. She even had his friends in a tag team match that wasn't supposed to happen, because our truth made the tag team match happen, because our truth said, I'm a sucker for love, and he cost his team the titles again. Well, not again, but they lost the titles. Him and the Miz lost the titles because our truth has been giving people tag team matches almost every week now. I'm like, God damn, our truth. Sometimes I'm like, yo, and man, when I saw the segment, I was like, Miz, I understand you're on commentary. You need to go and find our truth right now, because he's about to make you get into a match where you're not supposed to be in the match.
Mhm.
And that happened, and they lost the titles. And you kind of saw the Miz is like, bro, the Miz was defeated. He's like, bro, I had plans. He's like, bro, I had plans. He's like, Leo, I was this close to go to. He's like, to go to Cleveland as tag team champions in Cleveland Brown Stadium, and I don't even know if we're gonna come back to Cleveland for SummerSlam. And now we don't have the titles. And our truth was like, I got a plan. What if we win the title, our titles back in Cleveland? I'm like, our truth. That sounds all good and fun. But first of all, you don't have, you didn't have to, oh, you you didn't have to win your titles back if you didn't give the Judgment Day, goddamn, the title shots, because of Liv Morgan, who's, to be honest, she's crazy. So that ended up, it ended up being good and everything. So it looks like they're coming back for, for a title shot in for SummerSlam and everything. Uh Cody Rhodes doesn't have, his plan didn't show up, and I believe his plan is Roman Reigns. Uh, to end the thing, shout out Roman Reigns. Right, I don't think he's coming on TV anytime soon. He's dealing with the loss. His dad passed away this week. Sika Alawai, one half of, if you're old school wrestling in the 90s, he was part of the Wild Samoans. His dad passed away this week, so I don't think he's coming this week. If that was the plan with, Cody, he might come probably Money in the Bank, because Cody and the Randy Orton and Kevin Owens have a 6-man match, and they're only, but on the advertising they're showing the bloodline with all 4 members. So one of them is not supposed to be running, but we will see what happens. And that's, I think, it for right now. uh there's a lot of things that we cover. We have Teofimo Lopez is fighting this weekend. We have Bam Rodriguez fighting this weekend. And if you want to see that and my live reaction to that, not see it, but my live reaction, that, come follow me on Kick. That's where I'm gonna be doing a stream. I think VINIQUE is working this weekend, right? You working on Saturday, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so
Work a
he
double
might.
tomorrow and Saturday.
Man. So yeah. So that's it for the, pod. Without further ado, I want to say thank you guys for watching the pod. Subscribe if you're new. I'm about to finish watching the US trials, then probably watch Power right after that and everything. So yeah. But we are out, man.
Peace.
Peace.